videos when he said it, and it's not a. Type in President Trump says Black Americans built America. You're going to see a bunch of videos when he said it, and it's not AI. It's him talking clear as day at a press conference, right? And he's not joking. He's right because he knows. You know, he's an elite. All elites know the truth about who Black Americans are. Only people don't know is your trailer trash bunch of people, your average people, and then your immigrants. They don't know, okay? And your YT supremacists. I gotta be careful with my wordplay here, but your people who want to consider themselves as superior for felonious reasons, by the way, and erroneous reasons. But anyway, people that want to do what we call I call it eracism. That's what the term erasure. I know it's a weird term that a lot of people are using now on YouTube, and it's spelled ERASURE. When I first saw that term, I thought they were, and me and a lot of people thought did they misspell eraser? But no, erasure it means eracism, basically, where people utilize media propaganda and things of that nature, the legacy and syndicated media and the digital media, social media, to erase the lineage of a specific group of people of their choosing. So that's erasure. Like when Fat Joe went and said Hispanics created hip-hop, half and half with blacks. And then Cologne, Dr. Cologne, or whatever professor, fake Professor Cologne, or whatever his name is, tried to say that actually Hispanics created hip-hop completely. Then other immigrants were saying, no, Jamaicans created hip-hop, trying to erase the foundation of Black Americans who actually created hip-hop years before everybody else adopted it. Okay? And this is all tried, true, and proof. Once again, with scholarship. And you can go watch the movie Microphone Check by Tariq Nasheed. Salute to that brother for him just having that, you know what I'm saying, putting the movie out there like that, right? Because that's the truth. It's just the truth. Other groups eventually, after the foundation was built, just like for the country and the foundation was built for hip hop and everything else, yes, other groups came to contribute after the foundation, but you can never, at least I would say this, you should never, ever try to denounce and erase the foundational group to anything, ever. It is nothing short of evil to try to do that. That's like trying to erase a piece of God. You understand? Because God made these people. He made us, okay, in his image. He made us first prototypes. And you're trying to erase us like we don't exist for political leverage and things like that. It's crazy. But anyway, and some of these books, you know, go into a little bit more detail and intel on why that was possibly done. Here's another book. Scholarship, y'all, scholarship. 103 amazing facts about the Black Indians of the Western Hemisphere. Okay? Now, this was written by Canyon, a non-reservationist. Okay? So check that out if you can. Some of these books you might not even be able to find no more. They're so old. So you got to do your due diligence to try to look these books up. And they're written mostly by European scholars who have literally no incentive to lie about this specific thing. This would be the thing this would go against a lot of their, like, you know what I'm saying, their propaganda and their race, right? And others, immigrants' race, like, for them to sit up here and lie in favor of it being indigenous Black people on this land before there were red natives, or side by side, really, for thousands of years with the red natives, okay? But this is nothing against the red natives. It was Afro tribes side by side with them, and I'm going to name those tribes shortly here, so y'all don't think I'm bullshitting. And look, and I have more receipts. The Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, written by Ronald Sanders. Check it out. Go look it up. You see, you got an old map there. See that? Scholarship, data. This is not no emotional pro-blackity-black stuff. This is just reality. Okay? Before there was a term called black, there was Afro-Indigenous people on American landmass by the millions. Okay? And one of the reasons I'm so passionate about this, and I take this so serious, is because I would not exist if this group of people didn't exist. My grandmother, we're talking in blood quantum, rest in peace to my grandmother, okay? She was one of these indigenous tribe members that the world is trying to say didn't exist mysteriously, and it is insulting to my grandmother and my ancestry completely, okay, on my mother's side, for them to act like our people didn't exist. My grandmother, if you want to know what I'm talking about, she was half red Cherokee, okay, because they did interracial then, and I'm not talking about white and black interracial. The red Cherokees and the Negro Afro tribes that were already here, not African, indigenous Afro tribes. The swarthy, even when you go in the old dictionaries, the term American says, what was an American? It said an indigenous swarthy skinned, copper colored, woolly haired Negroid, indigenous to the land of America. Look it up. I'm not making none of this up. So anyway, my grandmother was she was half red native, Cherokee to be exact, and half indigenous Amaru Khan. Amaru Khan. Okay, the real true Americans. Okay, so she was half and half. She was like double. As the term Indian was what was used back then. I know it's now people get real tricky. They get real tricky with words now. It's hard to racially classify things properly without everybody getting bent out of shape. But they were called red natives and black natives. Okay, the indigenous were the black natives and the red natives. She was a mix. She was an exact mix of both of those races. But now people are trying to say that only the red natives existed, but the black native side didn't exist. As of my great grandmother didn't exist, who was a black indigenous woman. Okay, it's indigenous to America. Okay, before slavery. Okay, our lineage, that lineage is before slavery came to America. So they're trying to act like the black, and so basically it's like saying I'm a ghost. I don't exist because my blood quantum is full of that indigenous Afro tribe DNA, not African, Afro-indigenous. Okay, black indigenous people DNA. Okay, the Amaru Khans, the Tamari people. It's like saying they're trying to like say we just don't even exist. And I see white tea people. I see people all online acting like saying shit like no, all black Americans. These people have no idea about pre-colonial history. None of America. I realize this. And one thing y'all got to realize too: a lot of the white tea people, none of them are indigenous to America. None, not one. So they're technically were immigrants too. I'm just being real. We got to keep it a being. Speak on these truths, right? Speak on the extremes of history. Only people who are indigenous to America, literally, based on all of the data and the history and the scholarship, was the indigenous black Negroid, and he's not an African. And I say he as in we. We're not African. And then you can. I would even say, okay, if you want to go into just based on thousands of years, when the Mongoloid Siberians came over from the Bering Strait. The red natives, okay, because I got a quarter red native blood in me too. I'm not knocking them. I'm just pro truth. They were right alongside us. Now, if you want to say, hey, both came over from the Bering Strait, maybe one group maybe came from Africa, the other came from, Siberia area or whatever, Asiatic areas, and they came here to America hundreds of thousands of years ago or 30,000 plus years ago. You might can argue that, but still, those are the only two groups of people. Us Negroes, not Africans. The Negro is not African. People they get that wrong around the world. The Negro is not African. That the Negro prototype was the indigenous prototype to every landmass, even Europe. Look at the first man in Europe. DNA is called Cheddar Man. Look it up. Do your Googles. I'm gonna need y'all to do y'all Googles. I'm teaching y'all something. Professor Ronnie 2, Professor Ron Joshua James, right here. Look up your Googles. I type in Cheddar Man. No, not Cheddar Bob from 8 Mile. Cheddar Man. He was a black man with blue eyes. By the way, looked like one of my uncles. Rest in peace to all my uncles. But I had an uncle who was a black man, fully black man. If you want to say fully, we got red native in us and stuff like that. But it had blue eyes. A couple of them had blue eyes, green eyes, hazel eyes. But anyway, Cheddar Man was a black indigenous person of Europe with blue eyes. Okay, woolly hair and blue eyes. Look them up. Not making this up, bro. Even if I tried, and I'm not right. Also, you don't believe me? Look up the Aboriginal Australians. They call them Australoids. These were also black people. Arguably, none of these people were African. Just like we Negroes of America are not African. Okay? And I'm going to show you who created the mix-up. I have research, scholarship, documents on who created this whole mix-up that got everybody confused. His name was Walter Plecker. I'm going to show you a picture and everything of him. So, anyway, more scholarship for you that I want y'all books to read to know how many of us were here, okay? And proof. Look at this. Native Southerners. Look at that. Look like a black woman with a big old afro, don't it? Okay? With white chalk on her arms and hands, because this is one of the dress codes that they used to do as a warrior class of Afro-Indigenous people that we were, okay? So you can look up this book. This one, I can't remember the name of the author, but it's called Native Southerners, Indigenous History and Origins of Aboriginal People to America. So look this up when you get a chance. Native Southerners, origins to remove. Look at that. Even in the title, in the small print of the title, okay, what should be parentheses after Native Southerners, it says Indigenous History from Origins to Removal, letting you know there's origins of indigenous people to America that are black. And you read the book, it tells you all about it. It went from the origins of us being Americans, the Tamari people, Amaru Khans, to them removing our history, which is digital and written ethnocide. And they did also a hell of a job at doing actual genocide on us during the Trail of Tears and all of that too. People think that just happened to red natives. No, that most bloodshed was shed on the indigenous black natives. Okay, and that's what these books will let you know. Going forward, more scholarship for y'all. This is proof, y'all. Proof. Another one, Black Indian. Look at that, Black Indian. And that's written by, I know that was written by Shonda. She did her lineage and blood quantum. Shonda Buchanan, okay, Black Indian. Look at that. Look like a regular black person that you see right today, don't it? And that's why if you really look at us phenotypically, I hate to break it to y'all, we don't really look like the other people of the diaspora. We don't look like the Africans of the UK, and we don't phenotypically and aesthetically really look like immigrant Africans. We don't, and it ain't because of clothes. I'm gonna go as far as say it ain't just because of hairlines, because I know Tariq. Salute to Tariq. I rock with Tariq heavy. I like his material. But it ain't. I know he always talk about hairlines. That's only one part of it. We don't phenotypically. So I get even deeper into the scholarship probably than. Don't get me wrong. Tariq is very his scholarship. He's a historical savant genius basically. But he doesn't always talk as heavy about the scholarship as somebody like me. I'll talk about the scholarship constantly, receipts, not just jokes. Like, I'm not saying these are all jokes, but when we talk about those hairlines, that is a part of it that you can tell the difference. But it's more than just hairlines. If you look into the phenotypical makeup and the genotypical manifestation of the phenotype of Africans and immigrants versus Black Americans, we don't really look alike. Like, I'll give you an example. When I say African athlete, you would think of Manute Bol, right? Or Mutombo. But if I say Black American, you would think of like Kobe Bryant or J.R. Smith. Do you see the difference phenotypically in how they look and versus how we look? I'm not saying nobody look better or worse. I'm saying we have a different facial type, phenotype than Africans. And I know this for a fact because I used to work just a couple of months ago with a whole lot of immigrant Africans, a whole lot of them. And I would just look and study them. I would just analyze them. One, a lot of them were very arrogant, and they looked down on they call us Hakadas. I used to hear them calling us Hakadas and Jareers. And I'm like, what the hell is that? But I found out that's a derogatory term for Black Americans. Basically insinuating, because they don't know our real history, they think we're a lost tribe of them, and we're not. We're not. There's no relation to a lot of us with them. So this is what it is they only know colonial history. Basically history of what the white T man, okay, has taught them about us. So the so-called white T man has taught them through colonial history, which is his story, not ours, that we're all the same, one giant collective Negro, one generic African, and we just happen to be the ones who don't know who we really are, right? That's what they taught them. And they vehemently believe this. I hear them even on Tariq's show arguing tooth and nail with Tariq. And see, Tariq a lot more laid back than somebody like me. I don't do that laid back talk when somebody's trying to obliterate our lineage on this American soil. Tariq real laid back, smooth, almost like Dracula. He's like, "Sir, you are fleeing tethers, sir."